What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and this video I want to talk about Ready at Dawn, and sadly, the studio closing as of today. That was the big news, really. The second half of today is a studio that we're going to talk a little bit of the history of Ready at Dawn, a studio that I think deserved more. And I mean, I can't say that I've been around paying attention to them, right, over the last little while. Once they switched to like the VR only, once they were bought and used for pretty much like meta VR games, right? And I mean the company Meta, not the idea of Meta, right? I really pieced out, to be honest with you. But this is a studio that had a rich history that I feel was kind of building up. And, you can see from the background here, they gave us The Order 1886. Now, that was a divisive game. And, I want to say a few words for that game as well. But it's sad. I mean, let me just talk about the layoff part first, right? Well, this is a studio that's been hit before. There's been a couple ups and downs in the studio history. I believe as of last year or 2023, they lost about a third of their team, roughly, and then this year, just now, the entire studio was laid off. Or the entire studio was shut down. I guess you could say everybody was laid off, right? I feel for the people, impacted. I hope that they can find work. It adds on to like the terrible years that we've been in, right, with the gaming industry with these layoffs. But also, I never like to see teams completely get shut down, right? Like if it's layoffs, I mean, you still feel bad, right? Because it's still human beings being impacted, but the team and the legacy and hopefully like the spirit, right, can continue on. When you just shut it down and it's like, did you try to sell them? Like, did you ever consider other options, or did you just decide, no, we're just going to shut you down? You would like to see something else happen, right? Unless the studio like massively deserve it, right? Maybe they make a couple absolutely terrible games in a row. What are you going to do at a certain point, right? I do understand decisions have to be made, but for something like this, I feel like they went their path. It was probably arguably the wrong path to go down, and we're where we're at, right? So I feel bad for the future of the Order franchise. Or obviously, I never thought we were going to get more of those games anyway, but I know people were always somewhat clinging to hope that the Order 1887 or something like that could happen, right? There's no way. But honestly, if you go back in the history, it started before that. If you recall, this was a handheld developer first. If you think about even like Ben's studio, right, making Golden Abyss, then they jump to Days Gone. That's pretty much what these guys did, right? They made Daxter, and then they did a bunch of God of War things actually on the PSP. Did Chains of Olympus, did Ghost of Sparta, they did the collection in general. I think that was on PS3, and then they jumped to the Order. So they kind of gradually built, right? They made a couple PSP games just in general. Then they kind of did some collections or remasters. Then they did, then they jumped to PS3. Then they jumped to PS4. And let's talk about The Order just for a second, right? The Order is not my favorite game. It's not, I don't believe it's one of the better PS4 games, okay? I know it's got like a cult classic status. I actually played it day one. I bought the game, okay, me. And my friend, a close friend of mine, came over, and, it was during that era, him and I would play through the Uncharted's, the God of Wars, any game, Infamous, right? Whenever a game would come out, we would go through it and we beat it. And, we would plan a couple days, or if he slept over, we'd have to do a couple weekends in a row, right? Because the school and all that jazz. This game took us one day. I bought it. He came over. We played it into the night. And we're like, we kind of think we're almost there. We woke up and we beat it. We thought we'd have to do, like more weeks. We were like, okay, going into it. So I got to be real. The reason I tell that story, that is my main memory with the game. I don't remember hating it. I remember thinking it was fine, but I think the time really got me, just because, again, like there was that connection of, okay, well, we could do 2, 3, 4 weekends. God of War 3. The Last of Us took us like a month and a half, because we really went slow, and that game's like 15, 17 hours, right? So it took us some time to go through The Last of Us. The Order we beat we beat it within 24 hours, and I was just so shocked. But you can't forget, you can't discredit the visuals. I mean, that game is a game that I still think maybe it doesn't hold up entirely to this day, but it holds up pretty darn well, right? Like, it looks really good, and there was always that potential. This was a game, I think, filled with kind of character and something. I will say, like, as time has moved on, and as we have moved away from those type of games, right, I do miss something about it. I miss, I guess, that creativity and just it doing something a little bit different, right? I think I can honestly say that, where, maybe if they did have a sequel, they'd be able to flesh it out and double the size, because the lore is kind of there, right? And kind of the building up. And this is a game I definitely want to go back to. It's a game I do think about quite often, and it's a game that I'll be real, I've only played it once. some of those early PS4 games, I think I've only played Infamous Second Son one time. A lot of those 2014, 2015, maybe even 2016 titles, even Uncharted 4, I've only beaten like 3 times maybe. It's one of my favorite franchises out of all time. So it's definitely a game I want to go back to, and maybe because they're now gone, maybe I will. Probably not anytime soon. There's so many games coming out, but just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now, right after that, they kind of pieced out, right? They went the VR route, and then they were acquired, and they were kind of locked in, like an exclusivity type thing. And I honestly think they sealed their fate kind of right there. And again, just from like an own personal standpoint, as soon as they started doing the VR stuff, I had a PSVR. That was like during that era where VR was starting to take off and starting to be something like people were paying attention to, and I was paying attention to it a little bit. But I honestly, I didn't really care for it, especially because of where they came from, right? I mean, this is a studio that was primed, hopefully, for like a breakout right after the Order 1886, and they weren't given that chance. So, and the rumor, by the way, is that they had a pitch and they were ready to go with the next game, and that just didn't end up happening. So that does suck. But let me know what you guys think about the studio. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.